Hi guys, my name is Dhriti and welcome back to Tuning Pythons. In the previous tutorial, I guess you guys remember, we talked about how to connect Firebase to the project and we talked in detail about databases and Firebase. But in this tutorial, I'll be talking in detail about my project. Okay? The name of my project is Uber project. And what does it do? So just like Uber, you enter the name of a driver and it returns information. Okay, so that's what I'm doing in this program here. Okay, so let's get started with the program structure. First, we'll be talking about main activity and second activity, the two activities I have in this program. So in main activity, you enter the name of the driver once the name is entered in second activity, with the help of the name, which is the primary key, you get the information from the database and you just show it to them. Okay. Now let's talk about the data. I converted a CSV file into a JSON and I imported the JSON into Firebase. Okay. Now let's talk about passing control. Now, as I told you, in the main activity, you get the name and then you just you pass it on to the next activity. Okay, we send the parameter with the help to the second activity with the help of put extra and get extra. So you put extra, so that means you put the name and you get the name. Okay, so that's how you get the name with the help of get extra and put extra into second activity. Okay, now let's talk about one of the most integral parts of this app, which is class creations. Okay, now we also build a receiving class to receive all the information that is returned from Firebase, that's the database. There will be getters and setters to get the information and to set it into the right variables. Now let's talk about stuff inside the second activity. Okay, to connect to the program, you need to go to the website of Firebase and read the instructions, or you can go to my previous video for more details. Now let's talk about declarations. Just like other things, you need to declare a variable for the database and for the reference. We'll get to the reference later on in this video. But yeah, you can declare them just while you declare the other variables. Okay? In onCreate of the activity, you declare the UI elements like edit text, text view, button and all that. You just declare it there. The reference will be a small part of the database, okay, that you get. Okay? So continuing inside onCreate. For the reference, we create a listener called onDataChange. And onDataChange is a listener that's called when there's a change in the database. Okay? Then we create a function called showData. Okay? And this is one of the most important functions. In this function, we iterate through the snapshot with the given primary key and we create an instance of dinfo. Okay? And now since I already mentioned snapshot, which is data snapshot, let's talk about that. Data snapshot. The reference typically returns a data snapshot and we iterate through that and we get the correct information and we set it into the variables. So that's how you display the data. Okay. Now let's move on to the computer so that I can show you more on the program.
Guys, let's get started. And right now I'll be going to Safari to show you my JSON first so you guys don't get confused. Okay, so go to Safari and most frequently visited is Firebase. So actually I want to get started from the beginning, so I just want to show you guys how to enter and stuff. So yeah, we are here in the Firebase website. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to go to console. But in case you have not started your project and you're new here, then you're going to click this big fat blue button which says get started. But after clicking the button, you're clueless about what to do, then you have to watch the video and read the instructions on Firebase so that you get a clear view of what to do here. Okay, so since I've already started the project, in fact I finished the project and I'm just explaining it, so that's why I'm gonna go to console. And then you can see authentication and stuff here after I click this. So there are two Uber projects. You'll be wondering why. Well, that's because I screwed up. Okay, don't do what I did. And the Uber project, which has a small red and blue Android sign, that is the one that I've connected to my app. So we're gonna click on that. Okay, as I said, there's something like authentication, database, storage, hosting, and all that over here. Out of all that, we're gonna click database, and we're gonna click this plus here and this plus again, and we have thousands and thousands and thousands. I'm not even kidding, there are thousands. You go to the end of my JSON, you can see like 4,320 more values. There are so many, like there are thousands of them. Okay, I'll just make this full screen, and yeah, there are like thousands of values. So yeah, if you're just wondering what it looks like, then you click this plus, and you have age, you have first name, you have ID, you have last name, and you have the number of the car. Okay, so yeah, this is how a JSON looks, and there are like not millions, thousands such values. Okay, so now since I've already showed you this, as you guys know, I've converted a CSV file into a JSON, and I imported the JSON into Firebase. So yeah, now it's enough about Firebase for now. That's what I did in my previous video. So now let's move on to my application. Okay, I have two XMLs here and I have two .javas. Okay, now let's get started with this, the first one. Now the main activity is to get the driver name from the user, and that happens right here. Okay, like you enter the name, and with the help of the intent, it goes to the other page. Okay, and the other activity is to show the details from the database for the particular driver. I mean, you enter the value of the driver to show the information of that driver. Okay, that particular driver. Now let's move on to passing control. So now, as I said, the main activity asks the person to enter the name. Okay, and after that we send this parameter to the second activity. That's this activity. This activity. Okay, and after that by the way, I forgot to tell you one thing that happens with the help of this get text over here, some get extra, put extra stuff. So, yeah, with the help of that, and then use the intent to send this across to the second activity. So now let's move on to class creations. We have a class called driver info, which is called while there's a change in the database. This class we also build a receiving class for information that's returned from Firebase. The variables will be mapped to the ones from the JSON, okay, in the Firebase database. So guys, I just want to tell you the blob that we get, or the data snapshot that we get, we're gonna iterate through that in this particular place. Okay, this is not to iterate through it, but this is to put this is the put extra, get extra place, set and get place. Okay, so you get the age and you set it into the particular variable. Okay, now moving on to inside the second activity. Okay, now first I told you you have instructions to connect to Firebase. Please go watch the video if you don't know how to connect to Firebase. Okay, so let's talk about declarations. As I mentioned earlier, you have to declare a variable for the database and a variable for the reference, which I have already done. Okay, now in onCreate as the activity, we create UI elements in the onCreate. I'm talking about onCreate, and we get the reference using the database pointer, which we got in the previous step, which is the get instance one. The reference will be to a collection or the reference is usually like a sub collection in the JSON, like a data snapshot or a blob in the JSON. That means it catches a blob, and we're just going to iterate through that blob to get the correct information. Okay. So now let's talk a little in detail about onCreate. Okay, now the data snapshot is sent to us, which is a blob related to the reference, and then we create a function called wait, let me just see the name of that function. Oh yeah, it is show data. Okay, it's called show data. In this, we iterate through the snapshot with the given primary key, and we create the instance of driver info, which is the receiving class. Okay, now since I already mentioned data snapshot, let's talk more about that, shall we? Now we instantiate through we iterate through the snapshot and find the right data for the given primary key. Okay, now let's talk about one of the most integral parts of this project, which is rendering the data in second activity. After this, we then use the instance of driver info, which we populated. Using the data, we will fill the UI elements. Okay, as I mentioned it earlier, we're gonna get the information and set it to the right variables, and the variables are gonna be mapped to the UI elements, and that is going to be shown in the while you're showing the information. Okay, so in the previous video I talked more about Firebase and compared Firebase and SQLite, and I very briefly talked about my program. I also tried executing it over there. In this one I have explained my program completely. So in these two videos I've talked about how I have created this whole application. Okay, and now let's try running it. Let's click this button. Okay, so this is what I've already tried. It'll take some time to go to the main page, so sorry about that, but it'll take some time to go to the main page. Yeah. Just dismissed our student. Just try pulling that up. Oh, it's rebooting. Cool, and let's wait for it. So then let me just... Okay, so let's just choose a name. Okay, till then let's choose a name till it reboots. Okay? So I think I've seen Sydney somewhere. I really like that name, Sydney. Or no, let's do something else. What about Tommy Bon? TOMMYBON, capital BON. Let's try that out. Now since it's ready, I hope it comes. Yay! Let's enter the name TOMMYBON, Tommy Bon, and let's verify. It'll take some time for it to come. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, there you have it. It's given the last name Bonomo, and it's given 75 and KA1804, which is right. Let's check if the information is right. Where's Tommy Bon? Tommy Bon boy. It's right there. So his age is 75. Tommy, ID, last name, everything is right. That's amazing, isn't it? Well, I'm pretty sure you're wondering what this return is. Well, I forgot to tell you, this return, if you click it, it'll take you to the first page back again, so you can check it again and again. Okay, so let's try for one more name. Sorry, Sydney. Yeah, there you go. I mean, it does it again and again. You can do it how many ever times you want. So guys, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.